We're told to chase our dreams, that they define us, that success is proof of our worth. But what happens when a dream starts to limit who we are? When ambition becomes a trap, holding us to a single rigid version of ourselves? Philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre warned about this, calling it bad faith, the self-deception that convinces us we are only as valuable as our achievements. But what if our true freedom lies in seeing our dreams as flexible, as evolving? What if self-worth isn't about reaching one goal, but about living openly, allowing ourselves to grow beyond any one ambition? From a young age, people are encouraged to identify a life goal, work tirelessly toward it, and even make sacrifices along the way. These are compelling narratives, deeply embedded in our collective psyche, inspiring stories of artists, athletes, entrepreneurs, and visionaries who devoted themselves to a single purpose. While admirable, these ideals can sometimes mask a hidden trap, the belief that self-worth and identity are validated solely through achieving a specific goal. When people internalize this notion, they might start to feel incomplete, as if they're somehow not enough without reaching a certain level of success. Here, the mental trap forms quietly. The dream that once served as a source of motivation begins to act as a measuring stick for self-worth. This attachment creates a powerful all-or-nothing mentality where failure feels personal and defining, rather than as a normal part of any meaningful journey. In this context, the once inspiring goal becomes a confining structure, where failure isn't merely a setback, but a perceived failure of self. Sartre's philosophy reminds us of an alternative view, that identity and self-worth are not static, but are continually shaped by our choices and experiences. Rather than letting a single ambition define us, dreams can serve as companions along our path, allowing for flexibility and growth. This perspective encourages us to see our ambitions as guides, adaptable to the ebbs and flows of life, rather than rigid definitions of who we are. Jean-Paul Sartre introduced the concept of radical freedom, the idea that we possess the power to redefine ourselves, to shift our perspectives, and to chart new paths at any moment. This level of freedom means that no single goal or ambition is sacred or unchangeable. The beauty of radical freedom lies in the ability to hold dreams loosely, allowing them to transform alongside who we are becoming. So, what would it mean to view dreams as adaptable rather than absolute? This flexibility reframes dreams not as rigid, lifelong markers of success, but as evolving motivators that grow as we do. When dreams are seen through this lens, they inspire rather than confine. Dreams begin to act as supportive guides rather than rules that dictate self-worth. This adaptable mindset allows space for new ideas and unexplored paths, reducing the risk of feeling trapped by an outdated goal that no longer aligns with one's true self. In viewing dreams as something dynamic, we acknowledge that they can serve different purposes at different points in our lives. Radical freedom reminds us that we're not bound to fulfill a single purpose. The complexity of identity and self-worth defies any one definition. This shift in thinking opens a sense of exploration and discovery rather than adherence to a fixed path, letting ambition expand with us rather than restricting our growth. Sartre's concept of bad faith refers to a subtle but powerful self-deception, where individuals ignore their freedom to change, binding themselves to a rigid role or ambition out of habit, fear, or the comfort of familiarity. This form of self-deception often occurs when someone begins to believe that they must achieve a certain goal to be worthwhile, that their success or failure in a specific area will ultimately define their identity. But what happens when the dream starts to take precedence over authenticity? Consider the artist who defines herself only by the idea of fame, or the entrepreneur who ties his identity exclusively to the success of a business. This fixation can distort ambition, turning it from a source of personal expression into a narrow role, and here dreams become more confining than empowering. Bad faith in this context isn't just about limiting options, It's about constructing an identity based on a single, often external measure of worth. Sartre saw authenticity as an ongoing commitment to self-awareness and change. Being authentic requires questioning the deeper reasons behind our dreams. Are they rooted in genuine passion, or are they tied to an external need for validation? Are we pursuing a goal because it resonates with us now, or out of fear of abandoning the familiar? Regularly questioning these motivations keeps us aligned with our values and allows us to move toward ambitions that genuinely reflect who we are at each stage of life. Separating self-worth from success can be challenging, especially in a world that often equates achievement with personal value. Many are conditioned to believe that worth is something to be earned, and that validation comes through external recognition. But self-worth is far more resilient and complex than any specific achievement or public acclaim. True fulfillment arises from resilience, adaptability, and the courage to define worth in broader terms than mere success. Sartre's philosophy reminds us that our worth lies not in any single accomplishment, but in our ongoing ability to make intentional choices, to live authentically, and to adapt with life's shifting circumstances. When success is viewed as one chapter in a larger narrative, it loses its power to define or confine. Self-worth that transcends any one ambition allows exploration, transformation, and growth without the looming threat of failure. This broader perspective of worth makes room for change and evolution, making it easier to see life as an open journey rather than a single track toward a rigid goal. Life is unpredictable. Authenticity, as Sartre saw it, involves embracing this unpredictability rather than resisting it. Holding on too tightly to a single goal can hinder our ability to grow, closing off new paths and potentials that emerge over time. Growth and fulfillment often stem from exploring unexpected avenues, adapting to changes, and reimagining what success might mean as circumstances evolve. Rigid goals tend to create anxiety, transforming natural shifts into potential threats. But if we approach change as part of life's flow, then each new turn becomes an opportunity rather than a setback. Rather than undermining ambition, this flexibility enhances it, encouraging a more expansive, exploratory approach to life. Accepting uncertainty transforms it from a source of fear to a source of potential. As one lets go of the need to control every outcome, a world of new, meaningful experiences opens up, ones that may have been overlooked in the pursuit of a fixed dream. This isn't about abandoning ambition, but expanding it, finding worth in the journey itself rather than any one destination. Embracing uncertainty ultimately provides resilience, adaptability, and the freedom to pursue a life where change is a valued partner rather than a disruption. When purpose is viewed from a broader perspective, it becomes clear that fulfillment doesn't need to rest on one particular achievement. There is profound value in connections, contributions, and remaining open to growth in ways that a single dream might not encompass. Purpose becomes richer and more textured when it's multidimensional. When goals are parts of a larger whole, life opens up in surprising and meaningful ways. Rather than trying to define oneself by one specific accomplishment, purpose takes on a more layered meaning. It's in the experiences and relationships formed, the impact made, and the wisdom gained along the way. Each of these elements, woven together, forms a tapestry of fulfillment that transcends a single ambition. This expanded view of purpose allows for fulfillment in unexpected places and new ways of finding meaning. Rather than chasing an idealized vision of success, real satisfaction emerges from living as one's true self, present, aware, and open to the full breadth of experiences that life has to offer. Pursuing dreams is a powerful, natural drive, and ambition can indeed inspire remarkable things. But ambition doesn't need to define self-worth, nor should it limit the scope of who we can become. True freedom, as Sartre suggested, is the ability to choose, to redefine one's path, and to keep identity open, flexible, and ever-evolving. Imagine a life where worth is not dependent on any one goal, but rooted in resilience, adaptability, and the courage to grow. This view frees us to honor the whole of who we are, rather than any single ambition, letting us live fully, authentically, and with a sense of inner freedom. So, consider this. If you are truly free to redefine your life and self-worth, how would you choose to live if your dream wasn't the only measure of who you are? This sense of freedom offers more than success. It offers fulfillment rooted in authenticity, a path that embraces every change, challenge, and choice along the way.